Welcome to Business Success Tips, where we can learn to make more money in less time and have more fun, especially the have more fun part. I'm Paul Sanneman, the founder of Contractor Staffing Source, where we help contractors build great teams. I have as my guest today, Crystal Williams from Lemon Seed Marketing. So,
Yeah.
Crystal, yellow looks like your color. I'm impressed.
Yes, we have to. Well, you have to stay branded at all
Right?
times. And so yellow makes people think of lemon seed. So that's what we do. We wear it proudly all the time, everywhere we go.
Oh, that's cool. So, Crystal, tell me a little about your background, your backstory, what you do, and why you do it.
Yeah, sure. So, well, I was what they call a hashtag trade baby. So I grew up in the HVAC industry. My grandfather retired in the 70s from the US Navy and opened up McWilliams refrigeration appliance repair, which led him right into the HVAC field. And then my dad joined him at 15 and 16 years old. Then my brother joined the company. So I also was, I like to say tortured, but it was not that bad. All of my summers and days like that, I was answering phones and dispatching, like old school dispatching from a radio, and
Mhm.
filing back in the days of paper invoices. And so I
Right.
did that for a very long time, went to college, decided that I was never going to do this home service industry style thing. Went to work for a local Coca-Cola bottling company here in East Texas. And then my brother called me in 2014 and said, hey, we're really getting ready to hit the gas on this thing. We want to grow from a $2 million company at the time. We have big goals, big dreams, but I need somebody to get a hold of our marketing, our branding, our co-op funds, and also our community support, like how we're going to support our community and employees, retention. How do we get them? How do we keep them? And so that's where I entered back into the game. And he and I are on target this year for his heating and air conditioning and plumbing company. He'll do upwards of $28 million this year, just alone in that company. And then he and I own some other home service companies as well. A little small part of a roofing company. And then my sister and brother and I just started a pest control company. So we live in the best life in home
Wow,
services.
there you go. You have lots of service businesses. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, why did you decide to do like marketing for other people versus just doing it for your own companies?
Yeah, so because I'm a sucker for a good contractor. So what really happened is, man, I saw what a little organization could do for my family's company, how we were getting a lot more return on our investment with marketing, how a good solid brand was really building us. And so I started like attending meetings for best practice groups for the heating and air conditioning business. And people were like, how are y'all growing so fast? So I would share it. Well, then people would say, would you do this for me? Would you organize for me? And before I know it, I had like 5 or 6 clients that I was organizing their marketing plan for and their brand for. And my brother comes and says, hey, remember when you took a chance, left your good job, came to work with me? How about I support you as you go start Lemon Seed Marketing or start a marketing company? So I had a really good friend that's a fantastic graphic designer. She and I got together and hit the ground running. And that was at the end of 2019. And so here we are with 75 clients across the United States and 30 employees.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, a
So,
lot.
tell me, you interesting is you come literally you were grown up and or grew up in the in the trade,
Yes,
so to speak,
yes,
right?
yes.
So how do you help? Because this is how my family should feel. I'm considering. How do you help people make the transition from a tradesperson to an entrepreneur, especially in the marketing side? Because I deal with, I do a lot of recruiting, so I have to get them to convince to recruit all the time. And marketing all the time, same kind of issue. You should always be recruiting, always be marketing. So the question is, how do you get these trades guys, they're mostly guys, to go from the, you know, trade mindset or craftsman mindset to just do a good job and they will come to actually spending time and money and energy on marketing more like an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I say it all the time. If you're spending the majority of time working in your business, you're probably not able to work on your business. And
Okay.
it's a challenge. So like right now, I have probably 25% of my contractors that work with Lemon Seed now are still in a truck. Well, that's probably a large number, maybe more like 15% are still in a truck. They're $1 million, $2 million, and they still have to jump in a truck every once in a while, run calls or cover call for someone or especially on the sales side. A lot of them still maybe do all the quoting, all the estimating and things like that. And so what I always try to encourage people is, man, if we invest now on building your brand and having a clean marketing strategy, you will develop enough cash flow to get what I call it out of the truck, whatever that means for you specifically, but out of the truck and into an office setting where you can look down on your business, focus on operations, focus on marketing, focus on employee engagement, and keeping people working for you, working with you, and then seeking like good help from you. Like, man, this is a good culture for people to come work for. So those are always goals that I try to set contractors for. Hey, how can I help you get out of the truck faster? So, and it's one of those things, like, nobody loves to hear this, but marketing is such a trust the process style thing. 90% of my contractors hate it. Trying to understand digital marketing, and and it is so noisy right now. You know, if you're on social media and you're in all these best practice groups and social media groups, there's all this free advice. And free advice is exactly worth most of the time what you paid for it. It very much will hinder you. Like, you'll have paralysis by analysis of
I mean,
being able.
I can go to chat, like I can go to chat GPT and say, write me a marketing plan, or write me a marketing plan, right? And then, you know, with AI, you can tell you what to do. It won't get you to do it, but it certainly outlines a bunch of stuff. But that's just information, right? So information's abundant right now, right? As much information as you want, you can go to any AI and get all kinds of marketing plans and blogs and all kinds of stuff, assuming they know how to do that, which they may not do, but you never know. So how do you get them to implement it? How do you get them to actually do the work? Or do you do the work for them?
So Lemon Seed does a lot of the implementation for them. We are the implementers. So we understand at Lemon Seed that people need the implementation side the most. So you know, how many of you have ever attended a conference or a workshop or a seminar and you walk away with tons of good ideas, but like, where do you even get started? So that Lemon Seed is literally built to be the doer on a lot of things, but there's only so much that we can do without the support of an owner. So I need everybody to get into this owner mindset that it's a trust the process kind of thing. You need to deploy the resources that you can and layer your marketing to get it done. For example, your website, right? So if you are hosting your own website on GoDaddy right now or whatever, and you're not trusting a professional to do it, I would say start somewhere. Start with one of your marketing tactics and get it professionally done. And then as your revenue increases, layer on the next marketing tactic, then layer on the next marketing tactic. A lot of things you can do yourself, email marketing, social media marketing, those things you can relatively do yourself. As a matter of fact, like grassroots, like you just shooting a simple video on your phone from inside your warehouse or on a job site or whatever, and showing pictures and activity, Google actually appreciates that more than they do those of us that are using platforms to help us post. So agency style posting. So there's a lot of draw right now to like very organic style marketing. So a lot of those things, again, Chat GPT, like you mentioned, will help you do some of the, what I call the free side. That's just your time that you're investing in it, but definitely start trusting the professionals to get your company where they need to be. I took a roofing company, Paul, the other day. So the roofing company I own a small part of, she came, it's a female owner. She came to me and said, I know very little about marketing. And so she goes, but here's my budget and I trust you to do with it. So she gave me a budget that she could afford. I asked her for a little bit more. And then we went to town, and her business has been growing leaps and bounds. And it was a mixture of a branding component, like just telling people who we are, and chasing hail damage, right? So we had a good mix of getting in there when people really needed the roofing service, but also doing our due diligence with our community to let them know, like, hey, when you do need roofing, this is who you need. And it's a hard pill for her to swallow sometimes, because it's a good investment.
Well, sometimes a lot of controversy between, you know, what is a good marketing budget? Is it 2%? Is it 12%? Let's say you have a $2 million, well, the roofing company versus remodeling, I'm sure is different. But, you know, how much should your budget be? And then there's a question, well, do I spend it on SEO and building a brand? Or do I spend on pay per click and Google marketing? I mean, do you have any opinions on where you should spend your money and how you should spend your money?
Sure. So, and listen, it's not comfortable. And I will say this, it does vary. So like pest control, those that have a lower tickets cost. So like pest control makes their money $100 at a time. HVAC can sell a system for $15,000, $20,000. And, you got different amounts of cash flow coming in. So for pest control and things like that, those tickets being smaller kind of hinders you having enough cash flow to do some big upfront things in the beginning. So I would
Right.
always say, I tell everyone your brand is so important. What you look like. So what your vehicles look like, what your logo actually is, it is way more important than people give credit for. Now, if you're on the commercial side, it's not as important. You can get away with more, but especially if you are trying to get into people's homes, if your goal is for people to trust you and let you in their home when they need your service, you have got to have a memorable brand that stands out. It's the cheapest way to get new customers, and it's the heaviest way to stay memorable for homeowners. And so it's really, brand is very impactful. I can get on my soapbox about it because you can try.
How do you build brand? Give me examples of how
Yeah.
you build brand.
So for the first thing I always start with is let's look at what your logo, the name of your company. So for example, if your name is extremely hard to pronounce, you either have to own that, like you got to own it and say, we know we're hard to spell, like literally you have to make a play on that, or you have to update your name to something that's more memorable where people can spell it and do all of those things. So I like to literally look at what the name of the company is and what the logo for the company is. So do we have good colors? So heating and air conditioning, you know what we're famous for? Red and blue for hot and cold. Well, now that's not a differentiator. You blend in with everyone else, right? So we really try to have a different look and feel to who we are. And then I start looking at your social media presence. Again, I don't care what business you're in. If you are trying to get into residential homeowners' homes, you need to be on social media, making posts, showing people who your teams are, showing before and after. You need to be doing that because that is a part of building your brand, who you are as a company. And it's how you make people feel. So it's kind of corny, especially for dudes, but it's literally when people see your brand, what do they think? Do they think, oh gosh, those are the dudes everybody's driving around with a cigarette out of their mouth and trash falls out of their van? Or are they like, oh, those are the guys that give scholarships every year to the football team? I mean, it's corny stuff like that, but it is things that stick in their mind. So we have to work, oh, those are the guys with the pink vans or the neon green work shirts. We've got to figure out something to keep you memorable. So I start there. Then the second place I tell every contractor to go is to the website. Website, and is it converting? Meaning when people land on your website, are they able to navigate it and call you easily, contact you easily? But also, is it performing with search engine optimized words and phrases on your site? So that alone for a lot of you will soak up your budget if you're a very small contractor, less than $3 million. So you ask a question about spend. I'm going to tell you my recommendation is if you're trying to grow any more than 10 to 15% year over year total revenue, then I would say you need to be between 8 to 10% of your marketing budget off what you're budgeting to gross. So, $200,000 for a $2 million company is aggressive. If you can afford to be aggressive, go for it. I say that 5%, so $100,000 would be what it takes to maintain the business that you did last year. And those are just industry standards that we see a lot in the home service industry. They're not exactly right for every single company. If you have a huge database, referrals a lot of times will compensate for the actual spend. I have a $20 million company that's only spending 5% right now because they're at $20 million. So 5% of 20 million hits a little different
Right.
than 5% of a
5% of a million, right?
So you have to
Right.
keep it all in perspective. But when my brother and I, when we get ready to greenfield a new location, so we pinpoint a city, we want to open a new location there. Our first year, we'd like to do $3 million in that market. We're going to spend 14% on marketing, and we're going to put a marketing plan together for that city.
You're going to spend that in advance and have faith that it's going to work, right? You're not waiting for the money to come in before you spend it.
No, 1,000. So, and again, we've been blessed. We've structured ourselves that way so that our cash flow is structured that way. So we know we're going to have to float the company along for a few months till we can get some synergies and some energies going there. But every year we've grown, we've more than hit budget. Now, some markets are harder than others. Like some of you, if you're in a metro area. So if you're in Atlanta, Phoenix, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, bigger cities like that, Chicago, Las Vegas, things like that, you're going to have to spend more money to play the game. So
Do you spend some of that money and specialize in a neighborhood or something? Does that work?
So I say this, own your backyard first. So if you have a location with a Google business profile, own your backyard first. So where are people most likely to already see your vehicles with your name on it or your building signage, right? And then just target, slowly but surely target those those areas that are already seeing your brands. And then you just keep expanding from there, especially with digital. So get your website up, right? Get a good SEO strategy for that, which SEO is its own dilemma. So get you a good partner that specializes in your trade. So if you're a remodeler, find a digital company that specializes in remodeling or roofing or HVAC or plumbing or electrical, whatever you're doing. Get you someone that specializes in that, because they just already, honestly, you're going to get to bank on the mistakes they made with other contractors. So jump on,
Right. Learning curve can be very expensive. You might have someone else pay for it, right?
you might as well come in and then utilize their knowledge that they have. And man, they really, these digital companies, I work with a handful that I've kind of vetted for myself. And so all of my clients, like I have 3 or 4 that I introduce them to, because really with a website company and an SEO company, it's really about who you connect with. Most of them are very good. My advice, always on your URL, always on all the content on your website, always own your own AdWords account. If you have a vendor partner that's trying to put you in long-term contracts, or you don't own all of your assets, don't do it. Run away from that. Find companies that allow you to own all of your assets, no matter how small you are. Own everything, because those things mature with time. And so you don't want to look up and be like, dang, I let that digital company own my social media, my AdWords, my
Or they own my
SEO.
website and I can't mess with it. I mean, it's really scary.
Yeah.
Something to do.
Oh, it's horrible. Oh, I deal with it every day. It's terrible. It's terrible. So, but yeah, that's really where I tell contractors to start most of the time. Take a good look at your brand, take a good look at digital, and see how you can get those things going. And then, like I mentioned, Paul, the free things are just some social media posting about what you do. Very raw. It does not have to be overly produced. You don't have to have a fancy graphic designer. Those things make it better, but it doesn't mean you still don't have really good traction from just posting yourself from inside your market that you live in. And then if you have a good database right now, if you have over 750 or so people inside of your database that you can email market to, shoot them an email with a special or an idea or a promotion. It's a game changer.
So, Crystal, who drives all this? I mean, most contractors, marketing is not almost a bad word. It's like going to the dentist, right? They're not like, well, let's do marketing. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I'm so excited to spend this money. Yes.
So how do you hold them accountable? How do you get them to like going to the dentist, for lack of a better term? Like,
yeah,
I know I need to do it. How do you get them involved in participating and spending money and all that kind of stuff they should do?
So how does Lemon Seed get our contractors excited?
Yeah.
Well, so a lot of times I call it the accountability call. So our clients meet with us either monthly or bi-weekly, and depending on how large. So a $5 million contractor, we're going to need to meet bi-weekly. We have too many things going on. A $1 million contractor, we're going to meet at the beginning of the month, plan out the rest of that month and a little into the next month, and feel really good. We're going to measure performance and things like that. I can't make you care about your business more than I care about it. So if I care more about your business, the performance, how things are working than you do, then that's going to be the first issue. It just has to be one of those days where you wake up and go, okay, I'm tired of not knowing what to do and when to do it and not knowing what's working. I'm going to invest in someone, either Lemon Seed or someone on my team that can help me keep up with marketing. It's just an accountability piece that as an owner, you have to own. It's one of those, it's like firing people, like nobody gets excited. You know, I tell everybody I sell toilets, backflow preventers and condensers for a living. No one wakes up wanting to talk to anybody that I help market.
Right.
Nobody goes, I can't wait to buy a $15,000 heating and air conditioning system today.
Right.
So we as entrepreneurs, and even myself at Lemon Seed, like I have to decide that I'm going to prioritize what matters and what drives business growth. Because I can imagine your contractors that are listening right now, they have a couple of goals. They want more time with their families, and they want generational wealth for their families, and just more money in general. But a lot of them also want to really have a good place to work. They want to be a good income for these men and women that are on their team, so they too can provide well for their families. And to do that, ironically, sometimes you have to step out of the business and start focusing on things. I say what I'm seeing right now is once companies get to about $3 million in total revenue, they tend to have more freedom to step out a little bit more. That's really the secret spot where I'm seeing a lot of contractors be able to hire that next level, someone to kind of replace them
Right.
and get on there. But it's an accountability. Lemon Seed, we try to keep it fun. We try to bring lots of ideas and creativity and just re-energize you each month and motivate you. Because, man, it's hard out here. I say it's hard in the streets running a business right now. 2024, in my opinion, Paul, is going to be a maintain year. I don't think we're going to see a ton of growth opportunities this year. I think we're going to be all just kind of fist fighting our way through the year, just with intentionality of, I'm going to grab every lead I can. I'm going to get them booked. I'm going to get them seen about. I'm going to get them good quotes on time and make the very most of every customer experience with my brand. Because it's not going to be a 2022 year where everybody was making money hands, or a lot of people.
Right. You didn't have to do much, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, just, I try to re-energize contractors too. We can help you understand it. We are here to fight for you. We work for you as the contractor. We don't work for these vendors. And we're here to fight for you. Like right before this call, I was fighting for one of my contractors to get access to something that they own, and their digital company is holding it right now. So I'm a little keyboard warrior, typing out
Right.
emails. So yeah, we're getting there though.
Okay, cool. So it's sort of airport question. If you were in an airport, you met a contractor, says, I'm doing 3 million in a remodeling company. I can't seem to find good employees, can't seem to find clients. It's really tough. And you're going to never see them in your life again, but you've got, the 5 minutes. Okay, well, if this is what you need to do. What would that be for you? I mean, you've been in construction, contractors, the industry, you've been there your whole life. You know what these guys are like. What advice would you give that person? Like, if you just do these 3 things or something like that.
Right. So, I always start back with asking a little bit of like, what are you actually investing monetarily into marketing to drive new leads? So you mentioned 2 things, new employees and leads, basically.
Right.
So start with the lead side. So again, it requires you to invest. So if you're not investing, that's why you're not getting new customers. Because people like me, if I get a contractor to come into your market, I'm going to just out strategize and outspend you a little bit to where I can get ahead of you. So you got to get in the game, right? But
Right.
you may not be the starting people on the court, but you got to at least be on the bench with me, ready to go in when the coach calls. Okay. So we got to have some sort of thing going on there. So there's that. And most of the time that's where the problem is. I'm not going to lie to you, Paul. It's lack of spend, lack of investment, and then lack of a good brand. So I'm going to say, go back and look at your brand. Tell me what people think about your company, and tell me what you're spending to drive new leads. And that's the first place to look, and make sure that those are performing. The second thing is, people want to work somewhere that they feel like is a family away from home. So again, yes, most of us come to work and go home, and our real life, as we say, should start after 5 or whatever that work day is for your team. But I'm going to tell them, you have got to utilize social media, and you have got to talk about what you do for your team. So people that give good bonuses, have a good bonus structure, or they give extra things like, hey, you barbecued for your team and let them all, you ended work early at 3:30 one day, you cooked barbecue and they all came around. Take pictures of those team. You awarded an employee of the month, put that on social media, because people want to work somewhere that looks fun to work. So my brother's company with McWilliams, we have a a social media strategy, and it's literally 75% of it is employee retention and recruitment. We want to look like the best place to go work because we feel like we are. So we
That's
show
good.
in the last time, if you look and you're like when's the last time some of you did anything for your team? Like, hey, drive up on a job site and bring everybody a cooler full of Powerades, right? Or you drive up and say, hey, here's everybody buy their family lunch dinner tonight. Like, here's a gift card to this fund. Y'all worked really hard helping me get this project done. You know, show up win the day, as I say, for things. But highlight your benefits. Do you provide benefits? Do you have extra vacation days? Like, there's something that a lot of you are doing that is above and beyond the status quo. So how can you highlight that? And a lot of times it's social media and just letting people know, put the word out there. And then when they partner with people like you, Paul, that's a lot more to work with. Like when you've got some traction going on your
Right.
brand, not only as a company to use for a service, but as a company that looks like a good place to work, man, you're like 10 steps ahead of everybody else.
Right. That really helps. Well, that's
Yeah.
great. So Crystal, if people want to get in touch with you about what you do, how do they do it? And do you have any kind of like discovery call or something where you can talk to people about what they're doing? And because either they're not marketing, they're spending somebody, they call you, they're obviously looking for something, right?
Yes,
So
yeah.
do you like to have a discovery call to see what they're doing, what they're not doing, and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I do a free discovery call. Normally lasts between 30 to 45 minutes. I ask you a lot of the stuff that we discovered here. So what's your revenue goals? What have you spent in the past? Tell me about your brand. I try to look you up a little bit before we meet. So you can email hello@lemonseedmarketing.com or visit our website, lemonseedmarketing.com, and fill out the form there. And it sends you a link of a little questionnaire that I have so that when we meet for the first time, I'm not asking you these questions. You've already answered them, and I've done a little bit of research on who you are as a company so that we can get straight to it. Like, let me tell you how I think we could help you. Lemon Seeds packages start at $1,500 a month. And they just go up from there depending on how much services, what all you need from Lemon Seed. But I'm happy I even give free advice. So even if you can't afford Lemon Seed during that discovery call, I'll go ahead and give you like a generic plan, like what I think you should do for you to take and run with. And I love those calls. So I'm here for any size contractor. We have everybody from little less than $1 million, actually, all the way up to my largest contractor is a private equity firm with about 9 locations on the path to 13 that I work with as well. So I see huge budgets to small budgets, but hello@Lemonseed Marketing is a good email, or just visit our website.
Well, good. Crystal, your energy is amazing. You look yellow. If I could pick a personality, it would be you as being yellow, which is bright and live and talking fast and excited about what you do, which is really important in marketing, which is a good thing. So
Well,
I would suggest you give Crystal a call. If you have any marketing questions at all, I think she could really help you out. The discovery call is definitely worth it because you probably don't even know what you don't know. So I would give her a call. And thank you, Crystal. I really appreciate you being here. It's been great.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, Paul.